Hello, everyone. My name's Ken, and today I'm continuing my video series of Canfigure, a full-range IT management toolset. This is part 2 of the system management series, and we're going to be focused today on the form editor and hopefully show you how easy it is to configure forms for all your needs in Canfigure. So let's jump right into the editing then. The form editor allows the ability to easily customize forms for all record types. This includes adding fields, removing fields, setting field labels, setting validation and data types, defining multiple forms for different roles, defining field triggers, changing placement of fields, setting the behavior of a field, and just so many other things. It's tough to list them all. The form editor can be reached by two different methods. I'm going to show you both of them here real quick. When you're in any of the CIs, and for our example today, I'll look at some applications. And so when you go into your application CI, there's a button, and actually any CI, of calling edit form, and you'll see the default form for main applications in this block. The other way to get to them is by your system administration tool and tools and utilities and the form editor. And this is the way we're going to start today. So just bear in mind that the form editor is only accessible by users logged in as an administrator. And there are 3 tiers that lead to a form, which are the CI type, the subtype, and the attribute scheme. Each form is unique under the structure, and all form changes, just don't forget, if you make any form changes in Canfigure, they take effect immediately. So if you're making major changes to your environment, you better do it in test first. Otherwise, things will happen immediately again, and your users will see your changes right away. So let's talk about the 3 types of selections that you'll need to make here as we get started with forms. The first is the CI type. Forms can be configured for any CI type in the system, including incidents, changes, etc. The available fields are based on a table definition for the selected CI type, which we can further define by subtype. So for today's demo, we're going to select from the CI type application forms. If I click on this report button, just for FYI, the report button will output a PDF list of all forms that are defined for this particular applications type. The subtype selection is next. Each subtype of a CI may be optionally configured to have its own form. If a form exists for a given subtype, it'll appear in yellow, as you can see in the list. So today we're going to look at the application. And again, if I click, well, before I do that, let me just show you real fast. If I click on an application, there's also other buttons I can save as, so I can save different forms and different schemas for each one. Each subtype has its own image, which can be changed by clicking on the change icon beneath the image, and the image is displayed on various screens throughout the Canfigure app. So today we'll select, again, application subtype. The attribute scheme, which is at the top of the screen here, is the third and final level of a form, which contains the definition itself. At its simplest level, each CI type or subtype combination will have just a single attribute scheme called default, which is linked back to the default form. And you'll see it here. Below, these are all the default attributes and then anything else that you could ask for. In order to customize the form of given type, you can copy and select save. if you would want to save as or anything else. Right now for today, we're just going to go over the main application form. If multiple attribute schemes are defined for a CI type or subtype combination, the user, again, as we saw earlier, will be presented with a pick list of which one to select which one when creating a CI of that type. This allows several different forms to be used that represent the same type of CI type and subtype. For example, devices could have servers or desktops, or devices could be mobile devices, telephones, et cetera, et cetera. The scenario enables you to use different forms depending on the user role when you're creating a CI. For incidents and changes, the attribute schemes for those subtypes work a little differently than regular CIs. And we will go over those when we're talking specifically about change management. So let's talk about each field and managing it. So at the beginning, there's a checkbox field. One or more field settings can be manipulated all at once just by selecting the check boxes down. And then at the very bottom, you'll see with what do you want to do with each of the selected ones. There's also an internal name. The internal name of the field database is in the system. This name is used in any direct database or API communication. Custom fields are displayed with a yellow black background. Right now we're using the default form, so you won't see any of that. The field label is visual. It's the visual label of the field that's displayed on the form, and also any search screens related to the CI. The display option can be set to one of four things. It can be hidden, it can be optional, it can be mandatory, which means the user must enter a value for the field before the form will save. And on the form itself, mandatory fields will be displayed with a red border. And it also can be read-only. The user can see the field, but can't really change it. Let's go on to the row. So the row by default fields will be placed on the form vertically, one per row. You can set this option to previous if you would, if you would like the field placed beside the previous field on the same row. So you can set that to your desire. Protected is a unique field, and if set, the field will not be visible on the form without authentication by the CI owner. It's also encrypted in the database. More information for that field can be found on the wiki. There's also unique. If set to yes, the system will prevent a save if another record of the same CI type has a matching value in this field. And again, more information on that can be found in the wiki. The search field, if this field is set, it will be included in a field search function for selection for all searches. There's also a note field. If set, an automatic note will be added to the CI when the field changes at any time. There's also a notify block. If set, it will automatically email a notification to the CI owner when the value of the field changes. And then there's a default value. The default starting value of the field when a CI is created will be set to whatever you type in here. Excuse me, for date fields, the keywords today and now can be used. For people fields, the keyword me and can be used to say it's the current user, and I'll explain that more later on. The action field is fairly simple. Clicking on the trash can will remove the field from the form. Field values in the database for a removed field are not affected, so you may delete something from a form, but if that value is filled in on that CI, it won't remove the value that's already there. So let's go ahead and figure out how to add a field to the form. Again, these are all default values. So to add a field, you click on Insert Field. You pick a list of fields that are available, and that are not already on the form and are displayed, a yellow background for custom fields. The following fields, here's what they mean. All fields inserts every single available field into the form. Comment provides the ability to insert custom text on the form, which may include HTML tags. Custom button is used to place a custom button that calls an API function. Custom properties, custom selection, embedded form, relationships, and other fields not normally or not currently included on the form can be there. You can also create a new field, and there at the bottom down here, before you create a new field, make sure there's not an existing field that can be used. So when you're creating a new field, you just actually type in what you want the internal field name to be, and then select the type of new field that you want. And again, there are several types here. Boolean means a yes or no field. Calculated field is a numeric value calculated based on other fields. The date is just simply a date. Date and time includes the time with the date. Link to a CI is a field that defines a link to one or more CIs in the database. If a relationship link is automatically generated between this CI, then the relationship is included already. Also, numeric integers, a field that allows whole numbers, and then numeric decimal or money. That's what that means. Text with a max length has a limited length, and then free text with unlimited is just what it says, and then time accepts a time value in the format HHMM. And that's really just basically, in this particular example, I'll invent uh, a Boolean field. It has no length, it's just yes or no, so it automatically positions after lifespan, which is the last thing. We'll click create, and then you'll see down here that the new field was created with the name that we selected, and it's a Boolean field. So if I want to move this field anywhere, you simply have to move to the field name, the field line, and drag it up or down. I'm going to drag this new field to the top just to show you how easy it is to get it there. So I've dragged that field all the way to the top. I can also delete fields. When I'm removing from a form, it doesn't permanently delete it. Permanently deletes it from the form, but if there's a value in the database value stays there. And if I add this new field, for example, if I delete this field, it deletes it from the form, as you can see. But as I showed you earlier, if you want to insert that field, it doesn't completely delete it from the database. It's still there. So let's go up and add it again after name. And there you can see it reappeared. Just don't forget that if there's a value associated with that field in your database, that it won't delete the entire, it won't delete it. It will just hide it from the form. So let's talk about field options. If I click on an internal name, and this is the field we just did, it opens a list of options. This allows additional settings, including lookup values, help text. So I think what I want to do right now is really just show you the form first and show you what the new field we inserted looks like. So if I look at it, here's the new field, and remember we set it to a Boolean, which is a yes or no. That's what the form looks like right now with optional and headers. And so if I, again, go into and click the new field, it shows you it's the Boolean type and everything else. And then the input type is select or checkbox. And if I wanted to, say, change this field to a text field, I would go to the field definition. I can rename it. I can change it from a Boolean to a text box or any of the other types of fields that I would want to, uh, and then save it in this form. And now the field, when you look at the form, is a text field. So let's look at the form once more. Down here at the very bottom is a show form button. And now you can see as I'm entering it, the new field is a text block. Remember, I told you that any mandatory field is outlined in red. That's what this looks like right here. Okay, so that's the form and the field options. Let's talk for a few minutes about field triggers, which is a little bit of a complicated process, but really full help is available on every thing in the wiki. So field triggers are a powerful way to automatically manipulate field values and display settings as the user fills out the forms. Field triggers can be accessed by clicking on the internal name as we did, and then the field triggers button, which is right down here at the bottom. So field triggers, and these are the rules for them, can be used to set a value, can pop up information, can pop up a warning message, an error message, can call a API routine. It can be done for almost anything. So what we want to do is look at if field value equals, and again, this is for a new field. If the field value equals, let's just say, NA, then we want to set one of the other forms on the field that are there. For example, the category. Now we can set the category to display default, disabled, enabled, mandatory, whatever we want, or to a fresh value. And if I click the search icon there, it will allow me to accept one of the drop-down values. And then once that's all done, I save it. And you can see the rule right here. It's the rule 41. So let's go back to the form again and show you the result of what we've done. So in this particular case, if I enter the field value NA, it will change the classification or category, as you see, to software tool, which is what we just built a trigger to do. Obviously, there's a lot more complex things that can be done with field triggers, and we will talk about them directly in the wiki and allow you to get more knowledge on that. But field values are very, very important. At the bottom of the form, you can also import and export a form or headers. If you have, for example, a form in a different CI that you want to import, you can do that. Just make sure that each database that you import or export from has the same fields defined. You can display the form as you've seen me do by showing the form. You can also copy the form to a different subtype. If you've worked on this and you want to copy to another subtype, it's very easy to copy, and you can copy it to a different subtype and then make changes to that particular subtype. In this particular case, again, we're on applications and then a subtype application. If I look at instance, which is another type of application, you'll see it can be a different form. Well, that concludes our overview of form creation and modification. If you have any further questions, please contact Canfigure support at the email supplied in the comments section of the video. Don't miss the rest of our overviews that will cover a wide variety of subjects on system administration and just a basic overview. Thank you so much for your time today, and I really hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.